We have inherited this faith and this institution from generations of people who believed in the power of human beings to bear love in the world. We carry this tradition for those who find comfort, inspiration, and joy within its real and virtual spaces. We tend the spark of imagination and hope for the world to come. Welcome, one and all, to the River Road Unitarian Universalist Congregation. To those in person, those online, and those watching the replay, your presence matters. My name is the Reverend Kimberley Debus. I'm a community minister based in Tacoma Park. I work in the areas of worship and liturgy, and lately, congregational life. I'm not a congregational life consultant, but rather my position allows me to see what's happening amongst our many congregations, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I write, I know hymns. I'm one of our hymnal experts, and I love our faith, and it is such an honor to be with you here today. Our service today is the first of two I will be sharing with you. We'll be considering the 7 deadly words of the church and what it means to shift the ways we do things in our congregations to meet the moment the world calls us to, this remarkable moment of transformation and call. We are together, and I am grateful. And so I say we begin by giving thanks. So please rise in body or spirit as you're able and join us in singing 1010. We give thanks. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. With give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. For this precious day. For all gathered here. And those far away. For this time we share. For this time we share. With love and care. With love and care. Oh, we give thanks. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. For this precious day. Thank you. You may be seated. Despite our joy at being together and our gratitude, it has indeed been a hard week. And so we pause for a time of centering and connecting with our hearts, allowing time for the soul to catch up, to catch its breath through words and music. You are invited now or any time during the service to light a candle, whether here in the sanctuary or in your own space, knowing that each flame adds a bit of warmth and connection and holds mystery. We are reminded by Manish Mishra Marzetti that the ground shifts, sometimes slowly, sometimes like an earthquake, reminding us that the solidity we often love and seek is an illusion. The crumbling dust of the desert plains, the moist fertility of farmlands, the eroding coastline of tidal shores, all are changing. Committees dissolve or are created. Leaders retire or step away. Ministers come and go. Bylaws are amended. New experiences lead to new truths, which foster evolution. The natural course of life always pushing us toward greater understandings of what it means to be human. Everything about our existence points to change, to flexibility, to dynamic recreation. And it's hard because change involves loss. Can we hold the losses well while not holding ourselves back? The ground shifts, sometimes slowly, sometimes like an earthquake. Nothing is static. But we are going. We are going. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. But we know within.
And we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. But we know we will.
It will be hard, we know.
And the road will be muddy and rough.
But
we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. But we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Spirit of life, mystery, that which holds all. We bring the complexities of our lives to this moment, seeking connection, consolation, and we both seek and offer reminders that we are not alone. We offer our prayers of comfort for those whose sorrows are great. Let us speak their names aloud so we may hold one another. Jess. We offer our prayers of celebration for those whose joys are contagious. Let us speak their names aloud so we may cheer each other. Chris. Carrie. We offer our prayers of presence and empathy for those who find themselves betwixt and between. Let us speak their names aloud so we may bear witness to one another. To Karen. Gracious and loving parent of us all, we know that our world is hurting, and we pray for those who are in harm's way because of war or violence or oppressive laws. We pray for these many, many people so we may not forget the call of love and the call of our faith to be agents of love in the world. For all of our prayers, those spoken and unspoken, we say amen and blessed be. Let us breathe our silent prayers into our space. I love that prayer. The song is a prayer after all. When we are tired, when we are worn, when we don't know what to do next, Spirit of life, come unto me. This congregation, like many of our congregations, supports our journeys, supports our work in the world, and that work requires money. And we don't like to talk about money in our congregations, and we find all sorts of ways to talk about treasure and gifts. But the truth is, despite pushing against some of the worst excesses of capitalism, we still exist in this world where we have to pay our bills. We have to pay for utilities and pay our amazing staff. And so I invite you to give to this congregation. There are baskets. Yes, there is a basket in the back for the cash and checks you have in hand. You can go online to the River Red website. You can text RRUUC, it's right on the screen, to 73256. However you give, supporting the work of this congregation is part of our call and our commitment to and for this world. Please give generously. I want to begin by saying I'm not yet quite used to DC summers. And so, pardon me, as I get used to the extreme humidity that I thought was already extreme from where I moved in upstate New York. At any rate, I'm fine. It's just hot. So the road may be muddy and rough. Anyone who's driven on University Boulevard, especially between Silver Spring and College Park, knows that the road has not just been rough, but sometimes downright treacherous. This bumpy, sometimes vehicle-damaging route is hard for me to avoid because it's the only way to get from my home in Tacoma Park to many of the businesses that I require access to. I try to avoid it, but then I find that Google Maps even gets lost in the meandering subdivisions and near complete lack of actually square intersections. What is up with that? I'm a native New Yorker and I grimace about it a lot. Shortly after I moved here in 2021, I asked Bailey, from whom I rent an apartment, about the road construction, wondering why the most torn up section of University was also in an area full of Central and South American immigrants. She told me, much to my relief, that it is actually the result of an incoming metro line, the Purple Line, which will, someday, more or less mimic the route of University Boulevard, becoming a cheaper, easier, and faster way to get from Bethesda to New Carrollton, meaning not just easier travel, but also meaning more people can get to jobs that will pay them well. Of course, Bailey noted, the subway construction had been paused for a couple of years because of a funding dispute. But apparently that's been resolved, maybe? Certainly you can run into actual construction now at just about any part of this path. I don't know that anybody knows when it's going to be finished. But it's going to be a few years. And that's okay, because good change sometimes takes time. And often, good change means there's a mess in the meantime. It's like when you decide to clean out a closet. There are stacks of things and piles of things, and at some point you remember your mom telling you about the old radio show that featured Fibber McGee in a closet that, sadly for him, was not a TARDIS and was not bigger on the inside, as things regularly falled out. And yes, this was a radio gag. Sometimes there's a mess on the way to something better. Yes, the road will be muddy and rough. And that's a good thing, by the way, because it means something is happening. For anyone who has lived in the north and has gotten their car stuck on the ice or in a snowbank, you know that if you're not moving, your wheels just keep spinning on the ice, but then you get some gravel and mud, and it gives you traction. And it tells you something's about to happen. We are in process. It's good, that muddy and rough thing. So another road story. As I said, I moved to DC from upstate New York, Saratoga County, which is just north of Albany and just south of the famous thoroughbred racetrack. The two main routes up from Albany are Route 9, which runs along the Hudson into the Adirondacks, and I-87, known as the Adirondack Northway, which runs all the way up to Montreal. In Malta, where I lived, Route 9 and the Northway are about a half mile from each other, connected by Route 67. The intersections in that area are full of businesses that support the town and the travelers needing food and gas off of exit 12. Which means there's a lot of traffic and more than a few accidents at the various intersections. Well, some smart people at the New York State Department of Transportation determined that the way of the future was traffic circles. These traffic circles or roundabouts mean a few more minor fender benders, but significantly fewer fatal accidents. So this section of 67 became a testing ground for sequential roundabouts, which meant a lot of construction. and traffic pattern shifts, which led to circles and more circles, circles upon circles, over a dozen circles, not just on 67, but down Route 9. In the most dense section of roundabouts, there are 7 in less than a mile-long stretch. From above, it looks like an alien landing strip. Now, some of these roundabouts seem superfluous. Maybe someone got a little circle happy. I know that many people complained because the regular old intersections were fine for so long. The road has always been this way. Why do they want to change it? Who do they think they are? But the town of Malta is growing with new major businesses, including State Farm and a computer chip factory, and more traffic than ever. I still wonder if the abundance of roundabouts might be a couple too many. But people who know more than I do brought newer ideas to answer newer problems. And honestly, if they think the cornucopia of traffic circles means I am safer and cause less congestion, then hot diggity, I'm here for it. Sometimes we get new ideas from new generations of civil engineers or managers or ministers or volunteers who might not do it the way we would do it, but who are bringing new ideas that will meet the moment we're facing, not the moment we've been in. So I think about congregations, maybe like this one. You've gone through various change processes through the years. You've looked at bylaws, committee structures, lines of communication, staffing, and you get done with the policy work and the mission and vision work, and then a new generation of leaders comes in and wants to do all that work again and do it differently. A condition under which we hear the 7 deadly words of the church. But we've always done it this way. But we've always done it this way. A statement that can stop progress and change in its tracks. Still, those who have been leadership a long time are concerned about the change, and rightly so. Didn't we just do this? You who work so hard to develop governance systems, define committee structures, lines of communication, the policies, the mission, and the vision. You held positions of leadership for maybe decades, holding the vision and doing the work. Why do they want to change it? Who do they think they are? And worse, who are these new people coming in? People who don't know what it was like before, but, well, they love what they see here, and they know they want it to be here in another 25 years and another 25 after that. And they have opinions. But we've always done it this way. This way that defines our culture and our understanding of what this congregation is. And here's where it gets hard, because every time there are new people in leadership in our congregations, especially when they are of a different generation, there's a little, not mistrust exactly, but certainly hesitation. Do they get the vision? Will they do it the way we did it? Will this continue to be the congregation I love? After all, our systems seem to be working okay, and if I didn't do it the way we said we were going to do it, I don't know what I would do. Does that sound familiar? Maybe for some of you. I mean, it's reasonable. This is what generational shifts look like. I suspect many of the tired leaders in the room, first of all, thank you for your leadership, but I suspect many of the tired leaders in the room are boomers. And you were taught the vision of this congregation's founding 64 years ago, and you ran with that vision. You folks are beautiful at vision, sharing that with us, helping to sustain and grow this congregation with amazing ministers and incredible staff. and a gorgeous space here in Montgomery County. Because that's what boomers do. They name a vision and work toward that vision. But then Gen Xers come along. And we're on the brink of 60, us Gen Xers, the oldest of us. I don't know how that's real. Where did time go? But okay. But the Gen Xers come along, and that includes your senior minister. And they begin looking at systems, and they begin tinkering and figuring out what might be done differently and more efficiently. And because of their agility, they have a certain kind of strength and leadership in times of crisis. Thank God. And as we navigate these crises that have made the road rough, there we are. We have looked at changing traffic patterns. How do we do it differently? And then our millennials, who are in their 30s and early 40s already, how did that happen? Come in to rebuild our institutions in new ways. And the Zoomers, well, I expect they'll continue to share and amplify the vision for the next generation. And the cycle continues. Every group doing it a little bit differently, facing the moment we're looking at instead of addressing the moment we've been in. And that's hard, because no generation will do it the way the previous one did. They don't care if we've always done it this way. Or worse, oh my God, they'll introduce changes that make us say the other 7 deadly words of the church. But we've never done it that way. Those changes make the road bumpy and torn up, and damn it, those orange barrels are everywhere. So it's easy to want to keep the system the way it is. And the truth is, when a system appears to be working well and the people who are doing the jobs are doing them well, it's hard for others to say yes to taking on those roles, despite the pleas of exhausted leaders. There's a worry about stepping on someone else's toes, or not being as good at it, or being thought of as usurping. And it's especially hard when that leader's been doing that job for a really long time. In my home congregation in Saratoga Springs, we had a social justice committee chair who stayed on for 15 years because he was pretty sure he was the only one who could manage all the projects, and everyone else believed it too. So when his husband got a job teaching in Gainesville, Florida, he had to let go. And it was rough for a moment, but voila, folks discovered that they could do it. And now there's a regular rotation again where there always should have been. It's so easy to let systems just run the way they always have and let the people who've been doing it keep on doing it. But that way leads to burnout for the leaders and stagnation for the congregation. New York State could have just left the intersections on 67 and 9 just the way they were, but it would have meant more accidents as traffic got heavier, and possibly more stagnation for the town as businesses found more accessible places to build. The people who run the DC metro system could have ignored the needs of a growing population in the Maryland suburbs, but it would have meant more road congestion and more poverty. Please let that finish. It would be so easy to ignore the changes in front of us and just focus on what we know. But dang it all, the world keeps changing. Our faith keeps changing. And we keep growing older. And we keep learning more about injustice, inequality, bigotry, greed, hatred, violence, but also more about our expanding and inclusive ways of being with one another. We are learning that some of the structures that served us may not serve us anymore in our communities, in our congregations, in our faith. And so we're working to dismantle racism and misogyny and ableism, homophobia and transphobia and other oppressions. And that means changing our internal systems too, to rid them of the structures that keep the circle of love small. Which may mean the traffic patterns have to change to keep people safe. And new routes need to be built to help people have access to what they need. And sometimes that means the people who built the original things must accept that change is going to happen whether we want it to or not, so we might as well support it. And maybe it's good for everyone if we support change, even if it feels scary, which it is. Because you aren't just changing what seemed to be working, you're having to put faith in others that the change will be good. You have to trust that those changes will mean a smoother road and more access and more opportunity. Choosing to make changes means you let those with more energy take the lead and trust that it is the right choice, which I think it is. It's hard. Heaven knows how we'll get there. But when we trust the unknown, that's faith. That's hard. It isn't all bad. It means that sometimes you choose a different role. Sometimes it means you decide to move out of active leadership and make space. And when you do so, you get to move into a crucially important role in any congregation, the role of mentor, history holder, legacy maker. New leaders always benefit from knowing what happened before so they can make more informed choices. And sometimes the old ways wind up being the best ways, or at least show us that we can make changes that are less drastic, like a whole new metro line, and maybe a little more subtle, like replacing stoplights with roundabouts. Okay, I know, Malta's roundabouts are anything but subtle, but go with me here, okay? So what does allowing for change in systems and leadership mean for you? I mean, for real, road conditions change all the time. Just drive through Pennsylvania. There is road work somewhere, right? And traffic patterns sometimes change to accommodate growth. This does not mean we don't revere the past. It means we trust the dawning future more. So what does that look like? What does that future look like? Well, join me here next week as I pull out my crystal ball. Meanwhile, consider the road you've been traveling and see if you can make a way for others to draw that circle of love wider and wider to meet the moment we are called to nurture spiritual growth, to embrace diversity, to work for justice, to strive for a loving world. Let us trust our living tradition. Let us trust the people here to hold that vision, and trust our fellow travelers on the journey toward building the beloved community. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will. Wo-ya-ya. Let's sing together. Wo-ya-ya. Please rise. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know within. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven So thank you, one and all, for your presence here in the room, online, in replay. I want to thank Bailey and Cliff, David and Marcia, Natalie, Aljai, and everyone who has made today possible. As a reminder, all of the services in July start at 10:30 p.m. a.m. I'm fine. Words. I will be back next week, and then we will share services with Cedar Lane and Fairfax for the next 2 Sundays. You'll be provided with live stream links if you don't want to make the journey in person. Black Lives Matter Roadside Witness has returned. Join us on Friday anytime between 6:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. on the corner of River and Whittier. All ages are welcome. Folding chairs are available if needed. In July, go ahead. I'm about to read the very specific dates. In July, we will hold the vigil twice, Friday, July 7th and Friday, July 21st. Check the e-weekly for August dates or contact Jana Kirkman with questions. It's all right. This fall, RRUUC will engage with a new leadership program. LEAD at RRUUC is a leadership development program designed for experienced and emerging lay leaders within and beyond the congregation. This series of monthly workshops centers a curriculum originally tested in Arlington to learn about the practice and principles necessary for a robust and healthy spiritual leadership at RRUUC. Contact Beth Irakura with questions. So let us now extinguish the flame with these words from Octavia Butler. All that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. Go in love, go in joy, go in peace.